Okay, so about once a year I watch an episode of TNA, and coming right off of Slammiversary, thought it'd be a pretty good time to give it a shot. Opening match was an Ultimate X match. If you haven't seen that, that's essentially they put 4 additional posts on the outside of the ring, and they string cables across it, hold the title in the center of so in the center of this giant X would be your title. It was Zema Ion, Chris Sabin, and Austin Aries. These are actually pretty exciting matches. The only problem is you can very much tell that there's certain spots that they just have to hit. There's a moment where I think Zema Ion took a hit in the turnbuckle from Austin Aries, and Austin Aries ran up the other turnbuckle, so the one just straight across from it. But Zema Ion had to kind of like stumble his way, and then stopped, and then he had to stand there for a couple of seconds to take the move. So what I don't like about them, they're exciting, but they just have that real spot match feel to them. And then Hogan came out. So we're like 10 minutes into this, and Hogan's already out there talking during an Austin Aries promo. Austin Aries, phenomenal athlete. I wish the E had him. They might not use him well, but I wish the E had him. And the next match, so we're about half an hour in, we're starting our second match. And it's Devon versus Supermax Hernandez. Decent match. Hernandez had a problem trying to go off the top rope, so he kind of had like stutter step for a little while, and you can tell Devon had to stand there like he was a video game character for longer than he wanted to. It's a problem doing live TV. And the weird Impact super wide turnbuckles. So Devon won. Okay. Not bad, pretty decent. They're weird backstage segments. I've heard about the Dixie Carter AJ Styles thing, but the weird like behind the shelf camera angle to give it that pseudo voyeuristic feel, I thought that was actually pretty dumb. Just be flat out honest. Bully Ray had a verbal confrontation with Abyss's brother, or non-Abyss, and he flipped over a table. The table, when they pan back, was obviously a plastic table. But when he flips it, you can see Bully, or Bubba Ray, take a step back like this, whoop, like he was hit by the table. It's kind of hard to be really, really, I want to beat the crap out of you. Where's your brother at? You weird pseudo-wussy sort of guy. And it just felt kind of weird. Because then he started back, and it was like, oh, yeah. Knowing that that's probably a taped segment, you probably could have reset and done it again. And Brooke Hogan talked to Gail Kim. Brooke looks bad. She does. She looks like she grew into her father's chin. It looks... Yeah, they should probably have her talk via blue screen. Or she could be like the pseudo-anonymous TNA manager, just, I'm supposed to send a text message, have somebody better looking talk about it. They did the opening match for the Bound for Glory series. This was a gauntlet match. Now, when I think gauntlet match, I think 2 people start, pinfall, 3rd person comes down. No. All of a sudden, randomly, a 3rd person came down. Okay? And it was AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy with this weird, crazy, he paints eyes on the top of his eyelids. When he does this, he has this weird, like, stoned out cartoonish face, and then he opens his eyes, and he has this weird stoned out cartoonish face. And then Rob Van Dam came down, then they went to commercial break, then they came back, and like 2 other guys were in the ring. There was Kurt Angle and some other dude. And then all of a sudden there was, I think they came back and there were more people in the ring. And then a counter was in the corner all of a sudden, which I didn't remember seeing before. And then at the end it was revealed that it is an over-the-top rope battle royal. I mean, over-the-top rope gauntlet match. But it wasn't you get eliminated and someone else comes down. It was what felt randomly, people ran down into the ring, and then once you got tossed over, you were eliminated. So you also had Christopher Daniels down there, Hope. That's Elijah Burke if you're watching the E. Joe, Cowboy James Storm. So it came down, of course, to Joe and Storm. James Storm won, which is good, because I think last year was when Bobby Roode, or Rude, for those who speak English, won it, and that's how he became, like almost a year-long champion. So having, the opening match, and it's done by points. So winning the over-the-top rope gauntlet match was worth 20 points, which puts you really close to being the person who's going to be in the main event spot. It's a different concept. The match, while it had lots of good caliber to it, just felt so bizarre, and after a while, you'd watch people in the ring just didn't feel like it was really flowing well at all. So James Storm won. Good. You know, he's a good, very solid, like homegrown wrestler. Makes perfect sense. Madison Rayne took on the newest TNA Knockouts champ, Brooke Tessmacher, or Tessmacher, I don't know who's pronouncing it. You would know her as Brooke Adams, the non-Layla, non-Kelly Kelly from Extreme Expose, who, while being TNA Knockout champ, is also in a Hooters competition, because she was, before this, she was a bikini model. Their match was okay. You know, better than the standard run-of-the-mill E-Divas match, but that's not saying much. It was an okay match. You know, it almost seems like Brooke got the belt a little bit too fast. I mean, she's got the crowd behind her for the most part, and she's gotten a lot better than when she first started, but she doesn't quite feel like she's championship material. Their match was okay. Up to this point, I really wasn't blown away with any match. You know, not like the way the TNA marks really push it up to be. Was the in-ring stuff better than the E? Yes. Everything outside of the ring, and even the promos inside the ring, that crowd gets dead real fast. I mean, the crowd seems to pop for high spots, you know, anything that has to do with the death-defying move or anything like that, but for the most part, they seem to be a really dead crowd. It kind of entirely hurts the energy of the crowd. Bobby Roode, who comes out now in a pseudo Triple H sort of entrance, took on Mr. Anderson, or Ken Kennedy. I haven't seen Kennedy wrestle in quite some time. You can tell he's lost a decent amount of mass. Their match was, you know, again, decent, nice, hard-hitting, and Bobby Roode won via a crippler crossface. You know, decent match, but that title match for their World Championship was not the main event. The main event was Sting talking about being inducted into the Hall of Fame for TNA last Sunday, and then attacked by 3 guys at the very end. The weird thing is people talk about how the wrestling's a lot better, and the wrestling is better, but their matches still come off so bizarre. Like, certain people just do not seem to flow well at all, and it really does hurt the in-ring product. They have phenomenal athletes, but they just can't seem to get them on the same page sometimes. I know this was just an off night for TNA, and this is why I watch it like once a year. You know, I do enjoy Austin Aries, I do enjoy James Storm, and I think if Bobby Roode were to jump ship and come to the E, if Vince knew what he had in Bobby Roode would be probably one of the biggest superstars of all time. Good look, good mic work. He'd probably be, you know, up there with like a heel level of John Cena. Yeah, he could be that person that everyone get behind. Great look, solid in ring work, great on the mic. He's just in TNA. You know, just not going to have that broader mainstream effect going on with him. All in all, it was decent. I can safely say it is at the very least on par with most of the Raws that have been going on. But in most of the Raws we've had, anything with Daniel Bryan and Punk has been a lot better than what we've seen going on in TNA. Just from this one shot off of it. You know, is anything with Cena tired? Yes. Is Cena? Would I rather see Sting talk than Cena? Yeah. Would I rather see Sting wrestle than Cena? Depends on their opponents. So I gave it a shot. I probably won't for a while. You know, the nice thing about TNA is you can watch most of their matches on their YouTube channel. So I gave it a shot. I wasn't as impressed as I felt like I should have been if like people like to talk it up. But all in all, for a night of wrestling, not too bad.